Never said I was considered light-skinned, but you have to understand that in different cultures, they look at and determine skin tone differently. I may not be considered light-skinned, but where I'm from, I'm definitely not considered dark-skinned, and they call me yellow. For example, here's a picture of my mom. She's also considered quote-unquote yellow, and they say I got my skin tone from her.
As a collective, can we collectively agree to just leave light skin out the sentence? I get it. I'm light, I'm bright, I shine brighter than the sun. We get it. But every conversation don't need to be, what's your light skin? You on that light skin shit.
They start calling me fat. I'm like, all right, that's kind of funny. I ain't fat, a little chubby. Then they start calling me a fat bitch. I said, wait.
I try not to kill myself.
Hey, look, y'all see my skin color? Man, I'm not light skinned, man. I'm caramel, man. If you go to Starbucks and you get a Frappuccino, we the same color. The fuck is you talking about light skin? Man, I got a motherfucking melanin attitude.
Hey Pretty Girl Club. Today's video I wanted to talk about what color is light skin. So as we all know that our skin tone runs on a spectrum from light to dark. And on the darker end of the spectrum, we know that there's different shades of dark skin tones, right? We have the mocha color, chocolate, deep, we have cinnamon color. Like, there's different ranges of dark skin tones, correct? I mean, we can even name names. Gabriel Union, Napina Nyong'o, 2 different dark skin complexions, right? But when it comes to being on the lighter end of the spectrum, there's only one color of light skin, and that's white passing. Because if you're not white passing, you're going to hear it often that you're not even light skinned, you're not that light skinned. A bunch of gaslighting. They're always changing the goalposts on what light skin is, depending on what's going on. And I'm even go there. Features play a part in how people perceive your skin complexion as well. I know people who are yellow bone, get called brown skin or not light skinned. I think a perfect example is what's her face? Doja Cat, because she has type 4 hair, and I don't even think she has broad features in my opinion, but 4C hair is considered an Afrocentric feature. But anytime you have Afrocentric features, people will label you as not as light skinned as you actually are. If you're not white passing, you're going to get thrown into the brown category. It's a way for people to humble you, because saying that you're light skinned is implying that you think that you're better than them. It implies that you think you're on a high horse. It implies that you're prettier than them. All of these things. So if you're not super white skinned, like a Mariah Carey or Ice Spice, you're going to get humbled by being called brown skin, because they're using it as a humbling tactic, and they're just trying to call you brown to humble you. So on the lighter end of the spectrum, the shades that we would consider would be starting with white passing, then there's high yellow, then there's red bones. I think beige would be before that, but then there's beige, caramel, light brown skin. It's on a spectrum as well. Some of these terms, like, will get used interchangeably. Like, for example, sometimes I get called red bone, and sometimes people be like, I'm caramel, depending on what time of year it is, obviously. Red bones can tan to a more copper tone during summertime and be right back to being a red bone again. That's just how our skin works. It fluctuates. Skin tone is subjective. Someone who's Beyonce's complexion is light skin to unambiguous people in the black community. But if Beyonce goes to Spain or somewhere in South America or even Mexico in some places, she would be considered the dark skinned. It depends on where you go. And like I mentioned earlier, features play a big part. I saw a Reddit feed, I think it was either on Lipstick Alley or Reddit, where people were talking about Chloe Bailey's features, and they were just talking about Chloe in general, but a lot of them were saying she's not even light skinned, but they'll call her sister light skinned, and you gotta think like they're the same complexion. But if you look at their features though, I've heard them say this about Glorilla, that she's not even light skinned. But I don't know, it's weird. People perceive your skin tone based on your features. Like the more Afrocentric your features are, you're more than likely to get humbled with that humbling tactic. And also, if you're a light brown skinned person where you have a little bit more melanin, but you're still on the lighter side, hence light brown, hence why it's called light brown skin, the light part of it, because it's the undertone for real. But people feel the need to want to humble people who are in the lighter end or on the lighter end of the spectrum, because like we all know, being called light skin is something that is considered bragging and whatnot. And another thing, you can't even call yourself light skin or red bone. You can't give yourself, if you're on the lighter end skin of the spectrum, you can't give yourself a light skin nickname, because that's like bragging. Straight up, they think it's bragging, because it's like you're on a high horse. Who do you think you are? You think you're better? You think you're better if you're light skinned and you say that you are, and you are. That's almost insulting to them. It's almost insulting when you even call them dark skinned if they're actually dark skinned. It's really deep, y'all. And unambiguous people are the only people who are allowed to police if you're light skinned or not. They're the only one who can judge by that. You're not allowed to do it yourself. Only them can be the judge of it. People will pretend that you're not as light skinned as you actually are. If you're like a light brown caramel color, if you're not white passing, basically. People don't want you to have a big head about yourself. It's about putting you in your place. It's about not making you feel good about yourself. So they will gaslight and make you feel like you are darker than you actually are. I know I experienced this. I thought I was darker than I actually was for a long time. But I'm hearing people call me light-skinned nicknames growing up. And it causes a complex for sure. I remember this one guy used to always call me light-skinned, like it was a nickname. And I remember one incident, I was in the military, and I remember one incident, I was leaving the building, leaving the work to go home, and he was shouting, hey light skin, from far away. There was me and this other girl, same complexion, but he was talking to me, and we was both looking kind of confused, like, you know what I'm saying? This was like 10 years ago, and I didn't know I was light skinned back then, but people kept calling me that. People darker than me always called me light skinned, but I always thought that was just because they were darker than me. But really, I am light skinned. So I just grew up with this complex about my complexion for real. Ever since this space came about, if people treat you like you're light skinned, then you're light skinned. If you're always being humbled, right? If you're always hearing the nicknames, you're a light-skinned person for sure. It's funny because if you're the same complexion as a guy, like let's say you're light brown skin and another guy is light brown skin, they'll call the men light skin without hesitation. They call people the same complexion as Trey Songz light skin without question. But if a female is that same complexion, they're gonna give her a hard time about it. The men are not as policed when it comes to their complexion, because you gotta remember, being light skinned it makes you automatically beautiful. It's like inherently you're beautiful if you were born light skinned. So women get more policed by it, and it's mostly by women. Men ain't got a problem catcalling you by a light skinned nickname. But the females will try to humble you so hard. If you're in a situation where you try to advocate for darker skinned people and they say you're not black enough to talk about those issues, then you're a light skinned person. So it's like sometimes they do contradict themselves when it comes to us. They throw us in and out whenever it's convenient. You can tell if you're light skinned also if your makeup shade says caramel in it or beige in it. If you can find your makeup shade in the first place. Because for some reason the market in makeup, I think, is starting to change. I know Rihanna, her line covers it, but when I still go into the store this day, and I would see Maybelline and other brands, L'Oreal, only have like 1 or 2 shades of the darkest shades. But they'll have a whole bunch of other ranges. I always was able to find my shade with no problem. So that's how you can also tell if you're a light-skinned person. But people have gaslight people who have a little bit of melanin in them, like lighter-skinned people who are red bones and caramel color, light brown skin. People love to humble us so much. If you're a light-skinned person with broader features, they will definitely do that. So we just have to be reminded of these things. And it's okay to be yourself, love your skin tone, be unapologetically you. It's okay. It's not you thinking that you're better than anybody. It's a light skin is just a term that describes somebody. The slang version is a light-skinned black person. But yeah, there's a spectrum of the lighter shades and the darker shades. And it sucks that the lighter skin shade people have to pretend to be darker than they are, be ambiguous, have to pretend to be not mixed, just to fit in with our own community. It's crazy. But yeah, just be unapologetically yourself. Love the skin that you're in. It's okay to put a, like, Miss Redbone as a username. It's not you bragging, it's you loving on yourself. I see dark skinned women be like chocolate cuties or chocolate beauty or mocha chocolate honey, whatever, you know what I mean? They're allowed to do that and we embrace them. Anytime I go on a video and there's a dark skinned girl embracing herself, all the comments are positive. But a lighter skinned person, when she bragging on her light skin and they'll say hashtag light skinned girls, people are quick to be talking shit in her comment section. So it's a double standard for sure. But it's okay for us to love ourselves. You don't let people gaslight anymore. This is a safe space for lighter skinned people, so feel free to subscribe and expect more content like this, exotical content and all. And that's all I really wanted to talk about on here. And let me know what y'all think, and I'll talk to y'all next time. Thank you for listening.